have been MIA for a while. I've been busy doing various things that have kept me away from filming. However, I do hope to be better now that things have calmed down a little bit. I do, however, still have summer school, so that's definitely still gonna take up quite a bit of my time. I'm hoping not too much though, because I do love filming for you guys and showing you all of my thoughts and feels on everything book. So I had a thing happen.
Spring you a salad. Put extra croutons in there for you. Love you.
Love you too, babe. So yeah, I had a thing happen where there's this magical thing at most places where people are employed. There is a thing called an employee appreciation time. This is a day, this is a week, a weekend, whatever the case might be. It's generally when the place that you work gives you an extra discount because you slave your life away there. So let me show you guys what happens when I have an employee appreciation at work. This is what happens when there is an employee appreciation at my work. 13 books. 13 books is what happens when I get a discount. So yes, where I work, it is discounts all week, so I had to take advantage of it. I got a ton of books. A bunch of these were ones I've been waiting on for a while. I understand I probably could have gotten them even cheaper somewhere else, but why not support a bookstore and get some books I really want, and therefore I can share with you guys. So the first book I got was Geekarella by Ashley Poston. Currently I'm reading Fangirl, and I'm all about this world where there's a nerdy girl that's all about her favorite thing and obsessing and all of these nerdy things that we all know and we all enjoy. So I knew I had to continue those kinds of feels into Geekarella. This story is all about a girl named Elle who is obsessed with Starfield, and it's all about her journeys meeting the main actor, asking him questions, hopes, dreams, various different things. I hope I'm giving this book some kind of explanation justice, just because of the fact that this book has been around BookTube for a very long time. So if you know BookTube, you've probably heard of Geekarella. The next book I got was actually one that I have not seen on BookTube or Bookstagram or anything like that. It was honestly, as I was walking through the aisles, the front cover caught my attention. I read a little bit about it, and that is The Lies You Never Tell by Jennifer Donaldson. This cover is awesome, like just the smoke and the yellow, it's a beautiful cover. So The Lies You Never Told Me follows a girl named Elise who is absolutely shocked when she gets the lead role in her school's play. Elise's best friend is usually the one that's all the stardom and popularity and all of this kind of stuff, so Elise is absolutely surprised when it's her. She ends up going through rehearsals and ends up catching the eye of somebody she probably shouldn't be with. However, we also follow a boy named Gabe who is in Austin, Texas, and is thinking about doing the unfathomable, and that is breaking up with his girlfriend who he thinks is absolutely psychotic, and she has severe anger issues, and he doesn't want to break up with her because of everything that can ensue from something of that sort. Now, I'm not sure if these two end up meeting or being together. However, just that kind of concept of these two sounds like a very interesting read. The next book I got is an oldie but a goldie, and that is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. It's been around forever. If you've been on BookTube, you know about Eliza and Her Monsters. I have not read it. I've heard so many amazing things about it, and I'm very excited to dive into this book. So almost right up the same alley as Geekarella and Fangirl, Eliza has a totally different personality online, and she's a totally different person, and this story is all about her journey. Eliza also struggles with some mental health problems that I'm excited to see how she copes and deals, and how Francesca has written her as a character. The next book I got is currently very hyped all over the booktubes, and I was excited to finally get my hands on it because it's being described as Viking meets Wonder Woman, which I am all there for, and by that description alone, you should know I'm talking about Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. This book is everywhere right now because it is beautiful. The Viking and Wonder Woman claim is enough to get most people excited for this book. I know I am one of them. I don't know much about this other than I believe it's her brother is supposed to be dead, and yet she's ends up seeing him on a battlefield, and it's just, there's so many things going on that I don't want to dive too much into this without actually reading it and having all of the surprise hit me all at once. Talking about another oldie but a goldie is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This book is all over the place, and Adam Silvera is all over the place, so if you have not heard of this, I don't know what rock you have been living under, but I am excited to read this, and I've heard from multiple people that it makes you cry, but at the same time makes you feel good inside, so I'm excited to dive in to They Both Die at the End. So in this world, you basically get a call or some kind of notification that on the date you're going to die, it tells you that you're dying that day, and there is an app that exists that you can get a hold of other people who are supposed to be dying on your day. I think that this will dive into some very interesting aspects as far as life and death and being a human being, so I'm very interested to dive into this book and see where we end up. The next book is also one that is all over the place all the time, and that is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I almost said Schuster. Is it Schusterman? Shusterman? Schusterman? Sorry, Neil. I apologize. I'm butchering your last name. But this book is also all over the place. It has a beautiful little ward. I see it everywhere. It always sounds interesting, so I want to get into this so I can read Thunderhead, because I've also heard Thunderhead is very good. So in this world, humans have conquered death, and the only way that people can die is through the scythes, which go and take people's lives. It's the only way they end, and our main characters have been chosen to be apprentices, to become scythes, to end lives. That's generally all I know, and that's about all the little description says on the inside. I don't want to know more. You guys know me. I don't like knowing a ton about books before I read them. The next book, again, I bought a lot of like all over the place books, so I'm gonna stop saying it because you guys know. You know. So the next book I got is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I believe it's this one that is becoming a movie, and I've heard that if you want a good contemporary story that these books are the place to start. So I am interested to dive into this world. The description of this book though didn't really catch my attention, but I'm all for trusting other people's recommendations and seeing where we end up when it comes to trying to find a good contemporary story. So this story follows Laura Jean, who keeps all these love letters in a box, and they're to all the boys she's loved or cared about, and one day this box goes missing and all the letters end up getting delivered to the boys. So that's generally a very simplistic way of putting and summarizing this book. However, we'll see where this goes. That description alone, as I said, doesn't really tie me into and wanting to know what happens, just because it gives me some like very cheesy romance vibes, but we'll see. We'll see where we end up. Who knows, I might end up being a huge Jenny Han fan. The next book is The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross. This book is gorgeous on the outside. Like, I don't know who designed this, but it is fantastic. Although I have to say, like, my own personal bookish pet peeves, these kinds of pages, I don't know if you guys can see, where they're like all different sizes, really bother me, because when I'm like flipping through trying to figure out like if like I lose my place and I want to like find where I'm at, like I find these harder to flip and it bothers me. Like, there's so many other worse things in the world than pages like, oh, it's blank. There's so many worse things than like pages like this, but it bothers me. So this book follows Brianna, who has only 2 goals in life: master her passion and be chosen for a patronage. We follow her journey in all of these various things. There's much more to the description in this book, but I don't want to read it too much because I believe I have read it one other time and reading it didn't really get me excited. But that general, like, she has 2 goals in life, that gets me excited for this book. So we're gonna end it there. We'll see what I think, and hopefully I will have positive thoughts about about the Queen's Rising. The next book is one I saw in passing when I was walking around deciding. I actually saw this several weeks ago, and when I knew Employee Appreciation was coming, I had to get this book, and it is The Fandom by Anna Day. I love this cover. The thorns like give it such a mysterious feel. So we follow Violet, who is cosplay ready. She's excited to go to the gallows dance. She's all dressed up, ready to go. She goes and some weird freak thing happens, and Violet and all of her friends are transported into this world for real. They are in this world, so they are no longer just cosplayers having a good old time. They are in this world. When I first read the description of this, my very first thought is, what would happen if I was suddenly transported into Aurelia from the Throne of Glass series? I would go out of my way to find Aelin as fast as possible because I would die otherwise. I would not make it. I know that. So this is fascinating, and it opens a whole world of possibilities of what would happen if you got sucked into your favorite world. And I'm just excited to see where Violet takes this in her journey and what happens now that she's sucked into this world. The next book I have is Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. I adore this cover. Like, it has some Red Queen vibes, but like if Red Queen went to like an emo festival. So we follow Theodosia, who when she was 6 years old watched her mother, the Fire Queen, be murdered. So essentially, because of this, someone known as the Kaiser basically strips Theodosia of all that she's known, life, title, land, everything is gone. So she is held captive for 10 years. She's become known the Ash Princess, which is a title of shame, and we follow Theodosia as she deals with all of these problems and attempts to conquer them. I am so there for a captured princess story that is all about fire queens and ash princesses. Even though it's supposed to be bad in this book, it sounds amazing to me. I'm so there. Next up, just to switch up the reading style a bit, and because I love this author and you guys know that, I got Wires and Nerve, the first volume by Marissa Meyer. This book is a graphic novel, and I am super excited to dive into this. I purposely have not read anything about this graphic novel because I want to enjoy Marissa Meyer's work just as I enjoyed Cinder without knowing anything about it and seeing where we end up. The next book was a complete and total cover buy. That is The Black Witch by Lori Forest. This cover is simplistic. It's got its raised font and it is beautiful with our little forest coming forest, 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 forest. When you try too hard for the pun. This cover's beautiful though. I am so drawn in, even though it's got these stupid pages that I talked about. We follow a girl named Ellerin, who is the granddaughter of the Black Witch, and she is essentially trying to live life, trying to get out from underneath the shadow of her grandmother for being the Black Witch. So she ends up going to this school where she's trying to start over and just learn magic and just do her own thing. The problem is, being the granddaughter of the Black Witch comes along with a lot of not just stereotypes, but a lot of people assume they know you. And the very last book on this unbelievable book haul is a incredibly hyped book right now, and that is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. We have our stupid pages, but this book is beautiful on the front, so I can't complain too much. So we follow these two different women who are supposed to be a queen of light and a queen of blood. One of them has the power to save the world and one of them has the power to destroy it. So we follow their journey. They are thousands of years apart and we discover what happens and who's who. This is the first book in the trilogy, so super excited to see what happens and see where we go. Hey lovelies, thank you so much for watching this whole video. I went crazy on this book buying binge. I just have two last little things to show you, I also got 2 Funko Pops. I got Black Widow from Avengers Infinity War, and then because if you did not know, my dog Echo is actually named after a velociraptor from the Jurassic World movie, and so I had to get a little velociraptor because it's Echo. So I hope you guys enjoyed. In honor of the fandom, and because I can't get this out of my head, what world would you want to be sucked into? Like, if you went to a cosplay event and you got sucked into the world that you were cosplaying, what world would you want that to be? Let me know down below. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. As always, guys, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.